Morning grade 9s. So we've started a new section, geometry. Now from the get-go, I want to tell you that you need to know all your rules. If you don't know your rules, you won't know what's going on. That's why people hate geometry. Because not only do you need to know equations and algebra, but you need to know your rules or your reasons off by heart. Okay, so I'll start off with giving you grade 8 revision. So I'll go over that. So it's grade 8, just the concepts with you, the reasons. You need to make notes of these, and so that you can refresh yourself. So we're going to do straight line, triangles, and then 9E3, grade 9E3 is already started with quads. You should have also done summary of quads. One class already started working out quads. So let's have a look. I'm just looking at a textbook. You should have your own. It should be in your book. So if we look at this first one, this is vertically opposite. We all love this one in grade 8. That angle there is equal to that angle, and that angle is equal to that. So if that's 40, that'll be 40. If that's 60, that'll equal 60. My top kids will ask me, but sir, 14 40 gives me 80, 16 60 gives me 120. That's sum of angles around a triangle. Don't stress, I'm just teaching people what vertically opposite is. Okay, so that's vertically opposite. This is the old textbook, so you won't find this page, but you will have this. I'm not going to go to corresponding yet. I want to go down here to complementary. Complementary, where two angles complement each other to add up to 90 degrees. So if that was 60, then that has to be 30, because they must add up to 90. Those are complementary. Adjacent supplementary, all angles on a straight line, means these two angles supplement each other or next to each other. Adjacent means next to. They are next to each other and they add up to 180 degrees. Some of you guys will write down a reason as straight line, angles on a straight line equal 180. That's fine with me. Remember, this is very open-ended, so you have a lot of ways of working this out. There's many ways of working this out. And my kids love giving me other ways of working it out because they want to be smart Alex, but I like it. Angles around a point. So these angles all add up to 360 degrees. Angles around a point. Angle A plus angle B, angle C equals 360 degrees. Alright. Then we move on to parallel lines. Do you remember parallel lines? Parallel lines, fun. Do you guys remember fun? F is for, and we must go and write this down again. F is for corresponding. The U is for co-interior, and the N is for alternate. And I've got another page I'll show you that. So corresponding angles are equal to each other. Can you see the F, people? There's the F, and it's a backwards F. So there's the arm of the F, or the zombie with this underneath his armpit stink. There's his armpits, they stink, they're equal to each other. Okay, alright. Here's the Z. So there's the Z. I think my daughter wants to get out, you can go there. Okay, there's the Z for the alternate angles. So alternate angles is the Z, so that means that equals to that. So alternate and corresponding are equal to each other. Then co-interior is the only different one. Co-interior is, and remember, when with parallel lines, the lines have to be, the arms that you're talking to have to be parallel to each other. So those two are parallel, but co-interior, this plus this must add up to 180 degrees. Okay, so that's fun. We did this last year in depth, so you should just go and revise that again. Over here, properties of triangles. The first property, they all add up to 180 degrees. All the angles inside, the interior angles, add up to 180 degrees. I don't call property 2. This is not my property 2 over here. I don't do it as property 2. This is my property 3, where the exterior angle is equal to the sum of the opposite two interior. Go to the picture for me. Just go out a little bit. So where this angle is equal to these two angles, the sum of these two angles is equal to the exterior. Okay. That's my property, not property 2. That's my property 3 I teach you. My property 2 is base angles of isosceles triangle are equal. All the angles, some teachers will moan at me and say to me, no, you should rather call it angles opposite the equal sides. So this angle over here and this angle over here are equal. I just say base angles of isosceles triangle are equal. You know these from grade 8. We spend lots of time with this in grade 8. Let me just move quickly. Oh, I took my pencil out. I'll get it now for you. Here's a chip. Just for the corresponding, here's all the F's. Upside down F, backwards, forwards, the normal F, and the backwards F. All these angles are equal to each other. corresponding equal. Go look at alternate. Alternate, all the angles are equal, so you can have the Z. You can have the backward Z with his arms stretched out. Remember, we pull his arms. We can stretch it out, so sometimes you don't see it. And then this is the N, and this is the upside down N. Remember, the angles are all equal to each other. Here's cointeria. So you've got the backwards, oh no, that's the forward C. So that angle and that angle must equal each other. You've got the backward C, that angle and that angle must be equal. Here is the upside down, the N, that's the small n, not the capital N like alternate there. That and that must add up to 180. And then the U, that plus that must add up to 180. Okay, remember, for fun, there has to be parallel lines. Okay, so the arms of the U have to be parallel. The F with his armpits, they have to be parallel. Okay, so these lines have to be parallel. And grade 9 is very important. Don't forget that guess where parallel lines are going to come out? In your next question, quadrilaterals. Because with my quadrilaterals, my parallelogram, my rectangle, my square, my rhombus, my trapezium all have what? Parallel lines. So parallel lines are going to go through all of your quadrilaterals, plus your quads involved, plus your straight line geometry involved. Okay, so let's see. I wish I was in class with you kids. Let's see if I can remember all of it. Adjacent comp, adjacent sub. Angles around a point. So I've got my daughter hitting me with a ruler next to me. So if I'm losing train of thought, forgive me. So adjacent sub, adjacent comp. Angles around a point, vertically opposite. I might have missed one. Then it's fun, so it's corresponding, cointerior, alternate. Then it's my triangles. So my triangles is angles in a triangle equal 180 degrees. The exterior angle equals the sum of the opposite to interior. And then base angles of isos. So that's all my triangles. I might have missed one, so it's in subcomp. Okay, I will get back to that. And then the bad boy, quads. So you have to know all your properties of quadrilaterals. Okay, so then we have the questions where they are fun, that they're parallel lines, but you have to make an equation out of them because we don't know. What did I call it last year? The ugly angles. Do you remember that? The ugly angles. Whenever you have the ugly angles, you make an equation. I used that because your kids weren't getting it. You have an ugly angle? Use it. Do you remember what the ugly angle looks like? Let me show you what the ugly angle looks like. Here's the ugly angles. Okay, so look at this. What shape do I see here? A triangle. What else do I recognize here? Parallel lines. Okay, so I must remember all my properties of parallel lines and all my properties of a triangle. Okay, so let's have a look what I'm going to do over here. Okay, so the first thing, now everyone sees these things differently. Okay, and you guys love seeing these things different to me just because you're teenagers and you're grade 9s and you want to be different. I see the F. So there's one arm of the F, one arm of the F. Do you see the F? So that means that this angle must equal this angle. Do you see that? So I see an F. Okay, so I know that that must equal that. Okay, so then what I do is this. So therefore I know that D1 equals, there might be another way to do this, 2x plus 40. So if I know that, then this, I go take my pencil and I go right in here, 2x plus 40. Then mustn't this plus this equal 180 degrees? Yes, because they're angles inside a triangle. Now, remember I told you if you have ugly angles, these are ugly. This is what we called ugly angles because we don't know what they are. This is a nice angle. We know what it is. So you make an equation. So let's make an equation. You might have another way. Some of you kids will tell me, there's another way. It's an easier way. That's good for you. And I want to see how to do it. So it's that angle. I don't put brackets. I'm putting brackets to show you kids. Plus that angle. Plus that angle. Must equal what? 180 degrees. And my reason? Sum of angles in a triangle equal 180. Remember, I'll make all my abbreviations. All right. Now, let's solve this. So I'm gonna simplify this. 2x and x gives me 3x. 40 plus 10 gives me 50. Plus 70 gives me 120. Equals 180. Then I have 3x. I'm skipping steps here because you guys are grade 9s. When that goes over, I'll minus. So it gives me 60. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. X is equal to 3 into that 20. Yeah. And then I can check myself. Let me go put 20 back in here. Substitute 20. What's 2 times 20? 2 times 20 is 40. And then 40 plus 40 gives me 80. And then put my 20 in here. 20 plus 10 gives me 30. So that's 30. Let's see if it all works out. What's 70 plus 80? It's 150. 150 plus 30 gives me 180. Say that plus that gives 150 plus 30, 180. So does all of these angles equal to 180 degrees? Yes, they do. So if they all equal 180 degrees, I know I'm right. Let me show you another example. 2 more examples of ugly questions. Look at this one. I've used pencil because my workbook. I've got a parallel line there, a parallel line there. Okay, now you kids will, oh, what must I do here? I have to work out solve for A. Okay, look at the backwards F here. There's one arm of the F, there's one arm of the F, and there's the line of the F. Do you see the F? So that armpit and that armpit must equal each other. So I'm going to let them equal each other now, because I've got ugly angles. When you have ugly angles, you make an equation. So I'm going to write it inside of here. So I've got 3a plus 30. It must equal 6a minus 60. I made that angle equal that angle. And why? I must put my reason in here, but I don't have space. What's the reason? F is alternate angles. So these 2 angles must equal each other. Okay, now let's solve for A. This is the equation, basic equations. Which is bigger, the 6a or the 3a? This is grade 8 work. The 6a is bigger, so I take the 3a over. So I have 6a minus 3a. I leave my 30 here. I take that over. So what was minus 60 when it goes over, it becomes plus 60. So 60 plus 30. What's 60 plus 30? That's 90 is equal to 3a. Divide by 3, divide by 3. And 3 goes into there 30 times. A is equal to 30. And you can check yourself. Let's go. I just want to put my phone on charger quickly. Let's go and see, put A back inside here. What is 3 times A? A is 30, eh? So 3 times A is 90, eh? So I put a 30 inside here because A is equal to 3 times 30 is 90. 90 plus 30 gives me 120. So I've got that angle as 120. Let's see if I put a 30 in here. It must be the same. 6 times 30 is 180. 180 minus 60 is 120. So I know I'm right. Okay. So that was the other. So whenever you have an ugly angle, what must you do? Make an equation. All right. So grade 9s. Move back a little bit. Watch out, always right behind you sitting down. So when you've got ugly angles, you have to make an equation. It's always going to be a parallel line. It'll be co-interior. It'll be make an equation. Now this is all my grade 8 stuff I've taught you. There's nothing hard here. It's revision. You need to, if I was in class with you now, I would stop the lesson and I'll ask you, name me all the properties of straight lines. And you'll find all my kids that are studying and getting good marks, they know it off by heart. And if you're getting below 60, you don't know them off by heart. You need to know these off by heart. You know I battle with my quadrilaterals, diagonals. And you loved it last year, you kids that were good. You're like, no sir, that's not the diagonal, the rhombus. I still don't know my diagonals. I have to always revise my diagonals. But do I know most of my properties of quads? Yes. I know my properties of parallelogram. I know my properties of my rhombus, my square, my rectangle, my trapezium. But diagonals you have to know as well. And guess what? Diagonals is normally the hard question in the exam. They'll give you a quad, and then there'll be a diagonal that sorts you out. Okay, so I'm already getting a lot of messages from my kids. I'm going to post this video now just to help some of you for your revision. I've given you the answers. This is just this is just a video to help you refresh for those of you who are battling with geometry. Please know your quads off by heart, okay? Not your quads, all your properties of geometry. Sorry, I've got my daughter who's part of this lesson this morning, so she's, you know me, I lose my train of thought quickly. As you know, in class, we started preaching, we start talking, and I hope everyone's okay, man. I hope you're all alright, and I will post, I'll give you guys the answers. I'm going to leave you guys to suffer with quads, so don't be all posting on teams who want the answers for quads. You must vickle and wake up for quads. I want you to stress for quads. Okay, Prashant, I like all your questions. Send me some more. And yeah, God bless. Cheers.